I have recently fell back in love with the LEGO games, as you might be able to tell by some of my recent videos. I have made it a mission to play through every main LEGO game, but what better than to start with LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga? It is a compilation of the two LEGO games that started it all. Before we dive in, if you're new to the channel, I make content on all things nerdy, including superhero, Harry Potter, and LEGO games, and more. If that kind of stuff interests you, consider subscribing. LEGO Star Wars the video game, LEGO Star Wars 2, and LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga. These are games that myself and many of you spent a lot of time on in our childhood. So, I had to give it a go. I went and purchased it on the Xbox Game Store and jumped right in. Starting out in the cantina was so surreal. This was a place I spent so much time in just goofing around in as a kid. It was very nostalgic being back here after so long. The first thing to do was jump into a level. I personally like starting with the prequels, but if you're one who prefers to start with the original trilogy, unfortunately you cannot start with episode 4. You have to start with episode 1, the first level being Negotiations, which really is an iconic level. But after you beat that level, you can start with any other episode. For an almost 20-year-old game, the gameplay surprisingly holds up. The lightsaber combat, while it is just button mashing, is pretty good. The animations are better than what I would have expected. Characters can do backflips and even flip over enemies when in combat to get an advantage. The lightsaber combat is kind of slow, so it makes you feel like you're playing as old Ben Kenobi throughout the whole entire game. When you're not playing as a Jedi character, the gameplay is outright boring. So the missions where you mainly play blaster characters such as Han Solo or Princess Leia and droids are a bit of a chore to complete. But in order to remain faithful to the story of the movies, you have to have those characters in the game. At least whoever is playing as them won't feel completely useless, because each character class has their own abilities that will be able to help solve puzzles and progress through the story. This is something that has stayed with the LEGO games. Even Jar Jar Binks has a super jump in this game that lets you get to high places. That is literally his only use. It's kind of weird because you would think a Jedi would be able to force jump that high too, right? Hey, maybe this proves the Darth Jar Jar theory. While these gameplay mechanics may not be top-notch, the level designs sure were. They were incredibly faithful to the movies they are based on. Just look at this Camino level. Traveling through the halls really makes you feel like you are on Camino. I love everything about it. From everything to Negotiations to Darth Maul to the Mustafar, Tatooine, Hoth, and Endor levels, they make you feel like you're playing a Star Wars game. While the Mustafar level looked great, it was weird to play out. Since Anakin and Obi-Wan are supposed to be dueling it out, it's weird when they stop and work together to get past puzzles only to start fighting again. Probably the weirdest level in the game. But I guess there wasn't any other faithful way to make that level co-op. At the time, the boss fights in this game were not so remarkable. While they did all do things differently, they were essentially the same thing. The only way to beat the boss is to jump over their head and then press the attack button to smash down and stab them. That was essentially the strategy for every single boss in the game, besides for a character like Jango Fett or Boba Fett. Those you kind of want to shoot them or deflect blaster bolts, but other than that, for every Sith boss battle or any boss battle that has a character with a lightsaber, you have to jump over them and attack down. While some have forced lightning and you have to switch to other characters, and you might have to use droid panels and different stuff, it's the same thing. While they did a good job at least making it feel different, the combat in the boss battles was exactly the same strategy. There just wasn't much to it. There is not much to the story in LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga, as there was no voice acting in this game. In order to understand what is going on, you have to have watched the movies. There's no way I would have known Vader was Luke's father by this. but they do have jokes in here that made me smile even as a 25-year-old. There was one major thing that took me out of the game. If I thought the missions where you're forced to play a blaster character were bad, I had no idea what I was in for with the vehicle missions. These are so bad. Like, I don't even know how to describe it. Well, yes, I do. They are repetitive and just not interesting. The only ones I kind of enjoyed were the pod racing level and the Hoth battle. At least in the Hoth battle, there were variations, and you could even tie up the Imperial walkers like in the movie. That part is pretty fun to do. But collecting the purple orbs and having to launch them at purple glowing objects non-stop is really just not something I consider fun. They did this a lot better in LEGO Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga. It doesn't help that one of these missions comes after the epic Luke and Vader versus Darth Sidious boss fight. And that was the last mission of the game. I honestly just wanted to turn off the game there. It was not an enjoyable way to end it. In conclusion, the Complete Saga does not have the same charm it had when I was 5 years old. I guess the sad part about growing up is nothing has quite the same magic and charm it had when we were kids, does it? So to answer the question, is LEGO Star Wars: The Complete Saga worth playing in 2024? It's not so simple of an answer. If you played this game back in the day when it originally came out, it's worth giving it a run just for the nostalgia alone. Or if you are a diehard fan of the old LEGO games, then this is totally for you. So if you're someone who loves the new LEGO games and wants an epic LEGO Star Wars game to play, I would suggest skipping this one and playing LEGO Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, as it will be hard going from the new games to the old. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want to see more LEGO content on this channel, make sure to smash that like button. I haven't done many reviews on my channel, so if there's something you would like me to include that is not in this video, do let me know. With that being said, I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next video. May the Force be with you.